Ah.
That's a lot of noises I'm hearing on the call.
Hold on.
So what did you guys think? We just witnessed Sweet and Smokey.
Blech.
All right. Explain.
And I mean, it's borderline boring to me.
Yeah,
And I've mentioned many times that if something is boring, I hate it.
I kind of
it's-
felt like, it's a lot of little things I didn't care for, but nothing really pushed over the edge into like I hated this episode territory. It was more like, okay, that happened.
Like I said, borderline boring.
Yeah,
Like
it's like the uncanny valley in every way, in entertainment value and humor. Like everything is just sort of.
This was the apex of mediocrity.
pretty
Yeah.
much. And
Well,
I hate it when
let's.
something's mediocre.
Does anyone want to volunteer to quickly recap the premise here, or should I?
I guess I could.
Yeah, go
'cause
for it.
I've watched this episode
Yes,
4
please
times.
do it. Sorry about that, too.
Jeez.
Okay, where do I begin? So, news flash. Smolder's brother is Garble, because that's just
Yeah, we'll
great.
get into that.
So, now where do I begin? I should be better at this. Well, you take it. I don't know.
All right, yeah, it's a pretty simple idea that I think has weird execution. The idea is that Garble is like depressed, and it's weird because they only hint at that. They don't use the word depressed. But Garble's feeling down ever since Smolder left, and Spike and Smolder go to cheer him up. But also we have this egg thing going on, so Fluttershy goes along to help with the eggs hatching, which aren't hatching properly, and then like also Fluttershy and Ember are sharing scenes. Like there's a lot of like almost unconnected things which they try to connect.
My complaint is, why was Fluttershy even in here? Like, we could take Fluttershy out and it would have the same effect.
There is an answer to that question, but it is the execution of why she was in there. It didn't really make sense. The answer is, she represents kindness, and the dragons need kindness, right? It's kind of a general answer. But in terms of practicality, like her dialogue, I don't know. She was just there to see the eggs, I guess.
I think it's also just like a pony being there, and it not just being dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take Fluttershy over to potential lava so she could get killed.
Oh yeah, there was that one time where she almost did get killed.
Yeah, I know. So
I'll explain.
She would be dead now.
Yeah, Garble is just throwing lava balls at Spike, which I guess is kind of like a dodgeball reference. Kids are always getting beat up with dodgeballs, which makes sense there, but. And they're fireproof, right? But Fluttershy sure isn't.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that was attempted murder.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, and another problem, I don't know, should I call them problems? Yeah, okay, I'm going to call them problems, is they're fireproof, right? Except they're not anymore. Laugh Fire apparently has this special ability where it's dangerous for dragons. That's new. I don't know. I don't like that.
That is new.
Because Spike, I wrote down the quote. He said, Laugh Fire is dangerous. Like, it's that as you know meme. It's like, the audience doesn't know that, so they try to act like it's this normal thing, but it's not. And I just realized I spelled the name wrong in the. Hold on, let me fix that.
You know what
the fire's blue. The fire's blue. That's why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what it kind of reminded me of?
Just that aspect because I wasn't paying that much attention.
I don't blame you in the slightest.
You know what the Laugh Fire for some reason kind of reminded me?
What?
It kind of reminded me of the screams from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Like it holds some kind of power.
Oh.
Yeah, like I'm not against the idea of them kind of like expanding the lore, like, but this Laugh Fire thing just comes out of nowhere. I don't like it. I feel like they could have spent more time developing like what the Laugh Fire is, and that would make sense. But it just comes out of nowhere, and they pull the "as you know" meme on us. It's like, as you know, Laugh Fire is very dangerous. It's like, okay.
I'm like, is it?
Yeah.
I guess it is.
Windows 10 go
I
away.
don't know. Do you think maybe we could look for instances where dragons were laughing with fire?
No, I guarantee you it's not going to happen.
I'm just asking because I know you're a professional at finding this.
No, it's the Chekhov's gun just to set up the resolution, which we haven't even talked about yet. The eggs aren't hatching because they're cold. I think as soon as they started shaking, that was just everyone's assumption, but the characters in the episode didn't figure that out until later.
I mean, how did they not figure out that the eggs are not soaked in lava? Like,
yeah, like you would feel the heat.
How do you not know that?
So yeah, okay. So I didn't cover this in the recap, but yeah, the eggs aren't hatching. Fluttershy is supposed to help with that. Ember's trying to figure that out. It's the reason is because the lava was being drained from the underground pool, and like all of this is just so weirdly contrived, and it doesn't really all fit together, in my opinion. Yeah, there's just so much weirdness. It's just uncanny valley of narrative storytelling here. I think, at least.
Yeah, I think the dragon leader doesn't know how dragon culture works.
Yeah, if the eggs are cold, you would not feel the heat, and that would be like the sign that they need to be heated. And then, of course, their first reaction is, okay, let's try heating them up ourselves. And why wouldn't that work? That doesn't work because the episode needs to happen. Like, that annoys me.
Just breathe fire for like 20, 30 days or something, and you'll be good.
They do breathe the fire, but apparently it's not as hot as laugh fire, and this is all weird new stuff. They're like retconning previous, how dragons are fireproof and how, like, all this new stuff with the fire and laughing, and I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts? Anyone here? I know Jessica's been quiet, and that usually means she liked it. What did you think about this episode, Jessica?
Okay, I'm split. Yeah. On the one hand, I like Fluttershy and Ember, and the egg plotline was actually kind of cool. I liked it. But on the other hand, Garble is like, I still hate him. I don't care if they're trying to.
We haven't even gotten into that yet.
Yeah. I don't care if they're trying to make him more sympathetic or likable. I still hate him after like almost 7 years of this guy torturing Spike.
Some bullies should just stay bullies. It's fiction. That's okay, right?
I mean, guys, I really, really like Luke Skywalker.
They don't just do that in fiction. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, like, I don't like. It's too easy. Like, there's a lot of things they're trying to accomplish here. They're trying to retcon how fire works with dragons. They're trying to set up this thing with the eggs. They have this thing with, and now of course Garble, like you were hinting at there. Garble's a good guy now. Like, we're supposed to, like you said, sympathize with him and how he's a poet or whatever. Like, no, it doesn't feel right. This comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. I also like the excuse that we can't just bring the eggs over to the lava. They're too fragile. It's impossible.
Yeah, that was another throwaway line. We can't just move the eggs; they're too fragile. Oh.
They're too fragile. Like
that kind of works. Like, that's kind of an explanation. But the episode has so many little kind of we can't do this. It has to be this way. It's all extremely contrived the way it works, I think.
At least they addressed it, but it's still a pathetic excuse. So.
Yeah, and what's probably the most insulting is so much of this episode could be fixed. For example. Here's just one idea. What if instead of like rock poetry, which is kind of a weird new thing that they didn't really have time to explore, what if he was just a stand-up comedian? That would work, and it would be great. That's such a simple fix.
I could see that.
But we're supposed to be laughing at him, not with him.
That's the thing. The episode is all about accepting people, but no, the resolution to the conflict, or the problem really, is that no, we're still making fun of him, and that's how the eggs get hatched, is because they laugh fire all over them. So it's still making fun of him for being interested in this poetry thing. It's not accepting him. If the dragons accepted him, then we wouldn't have the eggs.
they're making fun of him one time, and then once it's done, can you teach me this poetry, please? It was actually kind of good.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked it all along. Like, come on, just give me.
Right after they all make fun of him, Ember's like, yeah, that was pretty good. You should teach me sometime. It's like, that doesn't seem in character for Ember. She's supposed to be tough, right? I don't know.
I think she's one of the more sensitive ones.
Yeah, I think Ember is probably one of the better. I mean, obviously there's Spike, but Ember's one of the better dragons that seems at least somewhat consistent, where she's obviously the nice character, but she's still a tough dragon. Unlike Garble, who's like this horrible bully, but now he's a nice guy. He's a softie, according to Smolder. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm complaining a lot. I kind of want to hear some positives, because it wasn't like this episode was irredeemable or horrible. It was just sort of bland.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. There were like some pretty good. There's some pretty good scenes,
especially Fluttershy. She was funny.
Yeah, no reason for her to be there, but yeah, she was pretty funny.
Well, did she? I guess she had to defend Spike. Garble didn't like Spike.
She did something that Twilight and Rarity could not. They defend. She
stood up to Garble.
She stood up to Garble. Like, the Princess of Friendship couldn't do that. Fluttershy could do it. I'm proud of her.
Yeah, Fluttershy did well here. She's just another character that kind of like the writer threw at this episode and just hoped it would stick. And I don't know. Fluttershy is probably one of the ones that did stick a little bit here. I love her line. She says she's packing a whole lifetime of kindness. So it's official. Fluttershy is canonically packing.
Before this episode, I was worried that Fluttershy was gonna be like a doormat and afraid of Garble or something. But no, she actually is growing as a character and is actually standing up to Garble. Like I'm just so happy that that's what happened.
Yeah, I agree. I like what they're doing with Fluttershy now, where she isn't just a caricature, a cartoon character that's afraid of her own shadow. She's the soft, kind one, but she's not like weak about it, you know. So I agree with you where they're heading with that.
Let's put it that way.
It does.
Depends on the episode.
Yeah, of course.
So.
And I like the cartoonishly afraid of her own shadow Fluttershy as well. I missed that kind of, but I also like where they're going. So yeah, Fluttershy was probably one of the better parts of this episode.
Yeah, despite not necessarily needing to be there, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, I got the screenshot on screen now. It's like all like 3, 4, 5 characters, and they all have like a separate little subplot that they try to cram in. And I think this screenshot perfectly embodies how there's Spike trying to befriend Garble, who's apparently Smolder's brother, and Ember's there trying to hatch the eggs, and Fluttershy's there defending Spike, and like it's just this weird mess of a story. I don't know. I feel like there's no way to recap this episode in like 2 sentences. You have to spend minutes to explain it. It's like, oh, by the way, and also there's this now, and also the laugh fire, and also
it's like you gotta spend, you gotta type out 5 paragraphs just to explain everything.
Yeah,
you could type up 6, no problems. Like, hey, write a 100-page essay on this, and you'll be able to get that.
Just not even to criticize it like we are, just to explain all the plot points and the new lore and developments and. Yeah, I don't know.
And we haven't even gotten started with the character interactions yet. So.
Yeah, we are running out of time, but I do want to mention like there's little things like how when they laugh, they throw their heads back and laugh like you normally would, but except when time comes, they have to put their heads down to laugh onto the eggs. So are they consciously aware that that's what they're doing? They must be. So then why couldn't they just do that in the begin with? I don't know. Like, I could make myself laugh if a bunch of lives depended on it, you know? It wouldn't be a real laugh, but...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah. Yeah, I laughed. It's self-soothing. I try to cheer myself up after a boring episode.
Laugh, it'll make you money.
All right, so...
It's not egregiously boring, so...
No, I want to emphasize, it wasn't like a horrible episode, just a lot of little things that kind of annoy me.
Doesn't that kind of... say a lot about the episode? It's even boring in the way that it is boring.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a crazy, insane boring.
Yeah. All right.
It's a boring.
Let's jump into individual ratings and reviews. Reviews then ratings. But so first of all, we have a couple new people. So Brandon and Taco, welcome to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
great to be here.
We're actually adding a few new members. Some haven't even joined quite yet. Hopefully they'll join us in like a week or so. But yeah, until then, anyway, individual ratings reviews. You want to start us off? Hold on, actually, we have stream problems. I think we're coming back online now. But all right, let's just pretend all is well. Brandon, okay. You want to start us off? Just give us, I don't know, 2 minutes of their thoughts or less, and then a rating out of 10.
Okay, well, this episode was, kind of in between. I really I wanted to like it, but it's not bad. They tried to shove a little bit too much into 20 minutes. But overall, it wasn't bad for me. That's about it.
Do you have a rating?
Probably, no, 6 out of 10.
All right, a 6 from Brandon. Taco, what did you think?
I'd give this 7.
Wait, review comes first. You're messing up the order.
Oh no. Get out, you're fired.
You blew it. No. Go ahead.
For me, the whole that's your brother. That was like really you're pulling that, as you said, the card with the whole fire like it's always been like this. You didn't know that? It's like yeah, because you've never mentioned this before. That I mean, I don't know something. I mean, I like Garble is like the bully that everyone thinks exists and does, but isn't really that common. Kind of like, oh, I'm the cool guy. I'm the Chad of the group, and I don't know, just the embodiment of that stereotype to me. It just could be better because it's kind of a bad representation of what bullies and tough guys are truly in reality are. but they needed a character to give Spike a hard time, and they did. And then they gave Fluttershy some adorable facial expressions, by the way. That was fantastic. And some time to shine, saying, hey, kind of, as it like, she's grown up. She's not all touchy-feely, kind of, I don't have a backbone and all, but now she's like, hey, I'm actually the sort of tough one, so. Yeah, definitely enjoyed that new part of Fluttershy. 7 out of 10.
All right, 7 from
All
Taco.
right.
Jessica, what did you think?
Honestly, like I said before, I'm kind of split on this episode. On the one hand, I love the plot line with the dragon eggs, and Fluttershy is just so adorable and just so. I just love Fluttershy. It's great. Amber is great. Spike is great. I mean, I know he's trying to. He's saying I'm the bigger dragon. I'm the bigger dragon. But wouldn't it have been cool to at least see him stand up to Garbo at least once? And Smolder is a great character, but I can't stand the fact that Garble is her brother. Like, there's really no reason why they are related. They look nothing alike. But also Garble, like, I still hate the dude, even if he's trying to be likable and sympathetic. I still hate him for all the times he's trying to be mean to Spike and everything. So I don't know. This episode was kind of a split decision for me, so probably like a 7 out of 10.
7's pretty high.
Yeah, I know. I'm.
Okay, 6. That's
Come
fine.
on.
Well,
Six.
I don't want to
6.
influence your rating. I'm just saying
No,
7
don't
is a good
influence.
episode.
I just disagree. That's all. Like that's so. It's like whatever.
So wait, what's your rating, Jessica?
I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right.
Just to make you
Alright.
guys feel better.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want you to lower it for me.
You're good. You're good.
All right, so
Magma makes me feel bad all the time. So.
I'm next on the list, but I'll wrap things up. So we're gonna jump down to Magma Master. What did you think?
Garble drinks Mr. Clean when no one's looking. 5 out of 10. Next.
So all right,
Oh.
Man.
all right. I'm gonna call you Try Trot.
Yeah, just call me Try Trot.
Go ahead.
So I've already mentioned the negatives. I'm pretty sure I'll just list some of the positives to show that I'm not like hating on this or anything. The character interactions were pretty good. I do like that they're developing Smolder, Spike, and even what's his face? I don't know. I'm time limit. Okay, but I mean, just the character interactions were good enough to hold it to make it to keep it at the borderline boring area. Because if that wasn't it would have been boring, and I would have given this a 2 because yeah. But I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
A 3.5?
If whenever an episode is boring or borderline boring to me, I give it a lower rating to send a message.
All right. So 3.5 from Try Trot. I suppose that makes it my turn. So yeah, like as I've been complaining, I'm not a big fan of this episode. Like there's a lot of great elements here that just don't fit together well. Like I loved Fluttershy's part. Ember's a cool character, and I'm not like entirely against the idea of Garble being redeemed or improved or whatever. Like bullies can be sympathetic in fiction. They can be interesting characters and all that. But this episode tries to do too much. They introduced the laugh fire. They introduced Smolder's brother being Garble, and they have the eggs. And I just felt like the execution was way off. A few little things they could have fixed here and there is make him a comedian. That would have been easier to establish than this rock poetry or beat poet or whatever they called it. Again, that's not a horrible thing, but if they focused the entire episode on just Garble and his hobby and interests, it could have worked. But no, they have this other stuff they have to try to fit in as well. So I think it's just a symptom. It's a symptom of too much stuff being crammed into one episode, which we see a lot of in recent episodes in the past couple seasons, which is unfortunate. But again, overall, while watching it, it was just sort of like little things that didn't ruin the episode for me. Every once in a while, an episode will have something that's like, that is unacceptable. They should have known better. This is horrible. I'm leaving. Like sort of rage quit while watching an episode. But here, it was just a little bit boring. And I mean that as a compliment. It was boring. So my first impression was actually like going to be like a 6 out of 10, but the more I talk about it, the more I pick it apart and think about what this episode was really about and all the things it retcons and tries to introduce. And yeah, it's more of a 5 for me. It's just really right in the middle of the road there. It's not really enjoyable, but it's not horrible either. So 5 out of 10 from me. So let me go ahead. I'll calculate our average review. There's our drum roll. So the average rating from Little Shy Live Stream Reviews for Sweet and Smokey is a 5.4. So we round that down to a 5 actually. So.
Yeah, that. All right then.
Okay.
Halfway there.
Yeah, it's right in the
like
middle
the
of the road.
It's like the
I mean,
lowest
I
grade
mean,
episode we got this.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Like you use boring as like a positive. What is wrong with you?
I feel like that's the thing. It gives us something to talk about. I actually still have a page of notes here.
I guess it gives us something to talk about, but it's more fun picking apart the episode than talking about the episode itself.
Yeah,
so,
the episode was not enjoyable. I think that's the takeaway.
So yeah, that's why I gave it such a low rating.
Yeah,
so.
I agree with your low rating actually. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for stopping by. We usually do these as soon as the credits roll for new episodes. We're late this time because I was away, but I hope to see you guys Saturday, and then for all future episodes, right as the credits roll. I hope you guys will join us right here on this channel. So, again, thanks for stopping by, and see you next time. Goodbye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Don't drink